are going to be going through 4F. 4F is focusing on learning to understand graph of polynomials with higher degrees. So we are going to start off with one. I'm going to focus on graphing. So as we've already looked at long division, I'm not going to go through that in this video. If you need to get it into the factorized form, I would encourage you to look at a previous video of mine. So we have been given y is equal to x minus 4, x plus 1, x minus 2, and x plus 3 in brackets. So we are going to be constructing a sign diagram. We're going to sketch a diagram, and we're going to find stationary points. So at the moment, when we're graphing, we need to be thinking about knowing x-intercepts, which we have clearly got it in the factorized form. So we know our x-intercepts are going to be 4, -1, 2, and -3. So I'm going to put those straight away onto a sign diagram. The second thing I'm going to do is, if I wanted to find the y-intercept, I just need to expand this and see what that constant is on the end. But as I'm doing it on the class pad today, there'll be less need for me to write that. So first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to pick a number that is below -3, just to see what is happening with my graph to start off with. So the first thing I've done is I've picked -4. So I'm just substituting -4 into my equation, and I'm going to simplify it. So -4 take away 4 will give me -8. -4 plus 1 is -3, -4 take 2 is -6, and -4 plus 3 is -1. If I times them all together, I'll get a positive 288. So that means my sign is going to start up here. So when any value less than -3, it's going to be a y is greater than 0. So now I'm going to pick a number between -3 and -1. So I've picked -2. Again, I'm just substituting it in. I'm simplifying it down, and I'm solving it. Straight away, we can see it will be a negative, and a negative is a positive, and a negative is a negative. So I've got -24. That means when x is between -3 and -1, it means that y will be less than 0. Then I'm going to pick a number between -1 and 2, so I will pick 0. 0 is easy. I'll simplify it down, and again, we can see -4 times 1 times -2 times 3 will give us positive 24. That means our values between -1 and 2 will be when y is greater than 0. We've got to look at between 2 and 4, so I'll do the identical thing. I'll pick 3, and I'm substituting it into my equation again, and that gives me, when x is 3, y is -24. So that means between x is 2 and 4, my y value will be less than 0. So then finally, I'm looking at a number greater than 4 to find what is happening at the end. And that, I picked 5. If I substitute that in, again, I'm going to get a positive number. So that means if I draw it, I can clearly see my my relationship of what's happening over the x-axis. So it's starting positive, and it's going to end in the positive going up. Now let's have a look at how we can do this on our calculator. Wish I could minimize it slightly so you could see everything. Apologies. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to go and do is I'm just going to go into graphs, and I'm just going to type it in. So x minus 4, x plus 1, x minus 2, and x plus 3. Now just be careful. If you put y equals, it's not going to work. It'll come up with an error. It's already got the y1 there, so we don't need that. Okay, so now if I just click this button, it's going to straight away graph everything. We can see it's going through those four x-intercept points that we found. If I wanted to see my full graph, because I can't really see everything at the moment, I'm just going to change my y. I might have to move this around a bit just so I can see everything. Do a bit more. I'll make it 25 and negative 25. Let's see if that works. Okay, almost there. Negative 30 and 30. Okay, I can clearly see this relationship, and straight away I can see that it is exactly on what my sign diagram is showing in that relationship. So the next part that I would like to do is one, we can graph it, and we've graphed it, so we can just copy this down. The other one, I just want to go back over how we find the local min and local max. So I'm just going to go into Analyst, I'm going to go into GSolve, and here I've got the min and max. So I'll do the min. And my min on this turning point is when x is 2.19, y is negative, it's 25. Likewise, again, when x is 3.19, y is negative 25. If I want to find the local max, I go gsolve max, and again, it will come up with the point. X is 0.5 and y is 27.5. So that will give us an accurate, our accurate min and max points. Again, I can use the gsolve as well to find my y-intercept if I'm allowed to use the calculator. And it will tell me when x is 0, y is 24. Just make sure you also remember how to use calculus, to work out your turning points, because you will need to know how to find it without the CAS as well.